Hello, you probably clicked on this video thinking that I was going to be some fat nerd trying to troll you. Well, you're half right, as I am a fat nerd, but I am not here to troll you. It's that I'm here to tell you why Carmilla is the worst thing on YouTube. Oh wait, that's what trolling means? Oh. Well, apparently, I am a fat nerd on the internet here to troll you. Well, sorry guys. Anyways, if you're on YouTube and you pay attention to lesbians as much as I do, you've probably heard of the web series called Carmilla. It's been praised on nearly every corner of the internet for its all-female cast and representation of various queer characters. What the internet didn't tell you is that Carmilla is a truly awful piece of cinematography. Now, before I continue, I want to say that objectively, I find Carmilla to be an excellent, well-put-together show with some fantastic acting. However, I do think there are things about the show that detract from the story that not everyone seems to talk about. I know people don't like to talk shit about things they like, but there is literally nothing but people saying Carmilla is the best thing ever. And the way I see it, this is a bad thing. Praise is a good thing. Sometimes the lonely girl on the internet wrote a short one-shot of her favorite supernatural pairing, and no one is paying attention to it except for just one reviewer that said, "This is really good. Good job." They can brighten up her day. Praise is great. But then there's overpraising, which is the first problem we're going to discuss about Carmilla. Now bear with me. This part could be bullshit, but I think it still needs to be addressed. If you take anything and praise the hell of it, eventually people will treat it as the new Jesus Christin, and its creator will be treated as GOAT. This is something I see the Carmilla fandom doing as the former. I want to point out that I have no idea what the people of Vertigo are like, what they do, or even what country they're in. America? Australia? Austria? Canada? I have no idea. But back on topic, I see a lot of the time the Carmilla fandom. Oh, excuse me. Cream puffs. Oh my fucking god, I said that out loud. I see them endlessly praising Carmilla, which isn't a bad thing, but there's a point when it doesn't deserve all its praise. And if you just dump endless amounts of praise on it, how are the creators going to find critical feedback? At this point in the video, you're probably wondering, is this fat fuck making fun of Carmilla, the creators, or the fandom? The answer is yes. As I said before, I find Carmilla to be a pretty good show, but I have no opinion on the creators and actors. They all seem fairly level-headed and friendly people who enjoy interacting with their fans. And that's great. Interacting with your fanbase is one of the best feelings a creator and fan can have. Schmoes Knows, Achievement Hunter, the YMS Dudes, Screen Junkies, That One Video Gamer, and many other YouTubers have close relationships with their fans, and they've all benefited from it. But the Carmilla creators cannot benefit from constant praise. Unless Carmilla is a flawless show, which it isn't, then a non-stop stream of praise should be stopped. I'm not saying don't praise Carmilla. I'm saying think about what you liked and what you disliked and apply it into constructive criticism. But feel free to call me a hypocrite, as I'm not doing that. In fact, what I'm doing is calling Carmilla the worst thing ever. You should feel terrible for watching it, fucking asshole. I guess I should get to what Carmilla's about. Carmilla has a pretty average plot. It's about this girl named Lara Hollis, who comes from Canadaria to some Austrian university because she was white enough to afford the tuition. One day her roommate, blonde redshirt, goes missing and is replaced with an asshole in leather pants. Not to be confused with Draco in leather pants. She's an asshole who wants to take Lara's asshole. Oh, did I forget to mention? There's gonna be spoilers because Lara and Carmilla turn into the gayest things in life for each other. But I'll get to them later. So to put it in a nutshell, Lara eventually discovers that, and forgive me because I made this video purely on memory, so there might be some errors, and pretty sure there's gonna be lots of errors. She discovers the Dean is a vampire, trying to sacrifice girls by putting bugs in their brains that change their personalities, making them easy to capture so they can use them to, my memory's fuzzy, but I believe it is to make the Dean a super-powered Cthulhu monster to take over the world. On the surface, Carmilla's plot doesn't sound very exciting. When you think about it, it's a toned-down, Lovecraftian Nancy Drew plot. Holy shit, that actually sounds awesome. And simple plots aren't a bad thing. Some of the best movies of all time are about relatively simple plots or ideas. So what are my problems with Carmilla's plot? My number one problem is how unimportant the story is. And now, dear viewers, we get to the real meat and problems of Carmilla. Carmilla's story is unimportant to the show and to its fans. I see nothing but posts upon posts praising the characters and actors, but I never see anyone asking, gee, I wonder what's gonna happen next episode. Wait, yes I do. I wonder if Carmilla and Lara are going to swat each other with crops. Wait, that's well, I shouldn't say that. Fuck it, I already put it in the script. Deal with it. But seriously, I never hear anyone wondering about the plot. Maybe there are people who are really into Carmilla's plot, but I'm pretty sure they're a minority, and I don't really want to find them because my mouth has been soured by all the ship-crazy fans. Some days I wake up, look at a post about Carmilla, and wonder if people even care about the plot. Because what people care about isn't the plot to take down a university conspiracy. It's to watch two lesbians, like porn, but with more warm and fuzzy feelings. Carmilla and Lara, I realize they have a ship name, but that ship name is stupid, so I'm not going to say it. It's what made Carmilla popular. It wasn't the well-written characters, and it wasn't the acting. It was Carmilla and Lara's homo lust for each other that made people watch the show. Ask yourself this: when you recommend the show to someone, how did you describe the show to them? Did you say it had a pretty good plot and had great acting and characters? Or did you say it has a very unique cinematography? Or did you take the ease route and say it was about a vampire lesbian? Yeah, I thought so. Anyways, I want to say I have no problem with Lara ending up with Carmilla at the end, and if anything, the actresses have very good chemistry with each other. Makes you wonder if the actresses... no. Take at least this thing, people. Don't ship the actors together. Or even if they do have feelings for each other, no one make posts on how perfect they would be together. Even if they say the actor shipping doesn't bother them, don't do it anyway. Or at the very least, don't do it in such a surplus. If Elise Bauman and Natasha Negovalnis have a mutual attraction to each other, then good for them. But if they don't or already do have an attraction towards each other, it either already is or is going to get incredibly awkward when they see fan art of themselves, not the characters, themselves, kissing or even having sex. Want an example? Check out Achievement Hunter. While they all love their fans deeply, they have grown cynical towards their fandom because of things like the example I made a few seconds ago. Anyways, the point of this rant is, don't ship the actors. Back to pissing you all off. What was I saying? Well, yeah, I was saying that I have no problem with Lara Carmilla's relationship. I felt it was well written. They went through all the hoops that romantic couples go through. There's probably a better analogy for that. Carmilla and Lara are a couple that works. But the problem later becomes that fans are just going to watch Carmilla and Lara be a lesbian couple. You know what? That's actually fine. That could be a genre called Slice of Life. But here's the thing. I don't know whether Carmilla is supposed to be at the relationship between Carmilla and Lara or about a vampiric conspiracy, because the show doesn't know. There are several points throughout the show where Carmilla and Lara are alone and their relationship was being built upon, but every time the plot would show up to remind the audience that, hey, there's fucking vampires here to kill her. If she doesn't become Dorkly's version of Buffy and kill them first, haha! I feel Carmilla would have been worked better if Lara spent several episodes alone with the titular character, working to make their dysfunctional relationship work. If you ask me, I feel they should have kissed and became girlfriends before the ending. I feel that Lara would have had stronger feelings to save her because before the kiss, I think Lara's feelings for Carmilla were only slightly higher than her feelings for Danny at the beginning of the show. So basically Lara was going to save a girl she didn't fully know if she had feelings for. Well, I suppose this could be an analogy for college romance, and Lara is trying to do the right thing. Lara trying to save her girlfriend would have been really cool and far heartfelt. Maybe I should bitch about something that's not related to lesbians. Camera angles? More like camera angle. Tough crowd. I have found that Verve Girl really liked the vlogger style of cinematography. It may be easy, but damn is it hard to make it look good. And I give my full respect to the director who made this work. Of course, now that I've said it's interesting, I have to explain why it's awful. This kind of style they're going for Carmilla is the kind of format a vlogger on YouTube would be using. And since the show is hosted on YouTube, it gives off the vibe that you're watching a vlogger experiencing a story with you watching the whole thing. This is a cool idea, and I really love it. However, this really only works when the story is taking place where the camera is. And as the series goes on, the story takes place less in Lara's room and more outside of her dorm. I can't pinpoint when it happened, but I think it would have been a good idea to switch vlogger camera angle to more traditional camera angles. As in more camera angles. And they actually did this with the Carmilla Christmas episode, which in my opinion is the second best episode in the series. I'm placing it that high because I think it shows a lot of potential that what Verve Girl could do with the series. In the first 2 minutes, I found myself struggling to pay attention, but once the witch showed up, I quickly became invested, even though it was a pretty ridiculous plot. Now, here's the part where I actually give constructive criticism. The way that I find to be the best to direct the show's cinematography would be that whenever the characters are in Lara's room, they use the vlogger style angle the series is famous for. And when they're outside of the room, to use a one-handed camera style, kind of like they did in the Normandy beach scene from Saving Private Ryan, or practically every vlogger on YouTube. Third would be using standard different camera angles to record pinnacle scenes. Some of you may argue that Carmilla is supposed to be shown in the vlogger camera angle, but I will counter-argue with a quote from Academy Award-winning director Freddie Francis. There are 3 types of photography: good photography, bad photography, and the right photography. The right photography tells the story the best. The reason I think Carmilla needs different camera angles is because Season 1 had a bad habit of Laura or some other characters, such as Perry or Laugh, explaining what happened when they weren't in Laura's room. While the characters' appearances and facial expressions do a good job of telling the story of the shit that went down, other times they don't do such a great job. I wanted to write the script saying that Carmilla broke the one rule of fiction: show, don't tell. And at times, if my memory serves me correctly, yeah, they kind of do that, but it isn't as bad as my memory served. I wanted to write this script so I could slap you all across the head, making you all realize that I'm your true god. I wanted to show you a flaw with Carmilla and see how you would look at it in our show now. But now I realize there isn't a lot to critique. While I do think Vertigo will need to employ different camera angles as Season 2 goes on, and definitely during Season 3. Season 1's way of doing camera angles is pretty good and interesting, but it causes disinterest if they keep using it. But Sombrero, they have a low budget, says the distressed viewer. I look the viewer in the eye and pat them on the head, and then I show them a show that had a shoestring budget. Neon Genesis Evangelion. With barely enough money to scrape by, Hideki Anno was able to create one of the greatest shows ever broadcasted that deconstructed the giant mech genre and analyzed depression and one's value of life. And with a turn of our head, I show them Fubar, a great mockumentary about two Canadian metalheads drinking beer in their surprisingly heartfelt friendship, funded by constantly maxing out the cast and crew's credit cards. And of course, our last example was built on $7,000, and the belief that viewers are geniuses, the all-inspiring time-traveling flick, Primer. So yeah, if anyone in the comments tells me I shouldn't judge Carmilla because it's a web show with a low budget, I will let you know that you're not defending your lesbian waifus, but hurting them. How dare you? And I'm not joking, saying I shouldn't judge a web show as I would judge a film was like telling Vertigo, hey, your show is dumb because it's on the internet, so don't worry about nerds criticizing it. So let's see, I've complained about the fan base, the story, the cinematography. Glad I paid for those note-taking lessons. What else is there to complain about? I know, let's complain about the characters. Lara, our main character, and the one in charge of the vlog. I think Elise Bosman does an excellent job portraying such a dorky character with very awkward characteristics. Elise Bosman displays a very shelled character, and I applaud her for it, though I do find her personality inconsistent early on. Sometimes she tries to be friendly with Carmilla, other times she wants to say, fuck you and your leather pants! Natasha Negovanelis, I can't do Eastern European names, is in my opinion the best actress on the show, but I don't think she is given enough opportunities to truly shine as a jaded asshole who is weary of the world and its hardships. Instead, she's mainly a dick. And Natasha looks like she's having fun with it, but she doesn't become too much of a dick. I mean, if you raise stray dogs, could you play a dick? I mean, probably, I don't know if it's directing or Natasha, but it seems someone is preventing Carmilla from reaching her true dick levels. Remember how I said the second best episode was the Christmas special? Well, the best episode was episode 20, where Carmilla explains to Lara her past. This episode is where Natasha and Elise gave their best performances, and I proudly salute them. I don't have much to say about the given episode besides that Carmilla is worth watching for Natasha's somber performance. Alright, there are other characters. There's Danny Sexbang of Game Grumps, there's Perry the Platypus, there's Laugh, there's my cousin Will, there's Mr. Wilson, there's This Joke Isn't Funny Anymore, and there's the toaster joining me from my bathtub. Always need some toast when I'm scrubbing myself. So Danny Sexbang, or as Wikipedia called her, Danny Lawrence, has the personality trait of being tall. And for like one episode, Laura wanted to Lawrence her Danny. What the fuck? Danny is, in my honest opinion, a lost opportunity. The actress for her does an alright job. I don't see anything for her personality besides being tall, being protective, tall, liking Laura, tall, and most importantly, fucking tall. And honestly, I think it ended up better in the long run because while I could have liked that Danny got more character development, it's better they established the characters they had instead of trying to establish a million of them. Sadly, the characters they decided to develop were limited to the ones fucking their brains out. And sitting outside of the hotel of character development are LaFontaine and Perry. One's non-binary, and one's Jewish, I guess. And I'm not sure what else to go on about Laugh and Perry. Granted, I haven't watched the show for a while, so I can't remember their characters all that well. But even in my own laziness, that is an issue with Carmilla. It has been months since I have seen One Piece, and years since I last cared about Bleach, but yet I'm able to remember most of the characters with their quirks after years of not watching. But yet there's this show with two major characters who I can't remember anything about besides one's lack of gender and the other's religious beliefs. Though there is one part I want to bring special mention to. There was this part where Perry addressed LaFontaine as Susan, and LaFontaine, being non-binary, doesn't want to be addressed by her birth name. My question is, if Perry and Loph are childhood friends, doesn't this mean that Perry would have been the first to know and accept Loph's non-binary status? And why does Perry have an issue with her lack of gender? Am I to assume she's perfectly fine with Carmilla and Lara mauling each other's privates, but Loph deciding they don't want masculine or feminine pronouns used to address Ze? That shit ain't gonna fly through her German studies hair? But sombrero! This is to show how hard it is for non-binaries coming out! Fair point, but there's a big hole in your argument. This scene is going to date Carmilla in the long run. In 20 years, non-binary teens are going to watch Carmilla Season 1 and ask, why is the curly-haired girl not using their undercuts preferred pronouns? When was this made? 20 years ago? I have no idea why I use that accent. If there's one thing I could praise Carmilla for, it's that they wrote the homosexual characters as one should write homosexual characters. By it not mattering. Now before I get everyone's pickaxe up my ass, let me explain. The best way to write a homosexual character is to make sure their sexuality is not their personality. Gay characters' personality shouldn't be that they're gay, and I'm certain the Carmilla writers know this as they wrote the characters of Lara and Carmilla with this ideal. So why is it they go to make LaFontaine's entire personality that they're non-binary? The only personality trait I can recall, and from reading Wikipedia, is that she's into science. Riveting. Perry takes German studies classes. She has curly hair, as she's also Jewish. Apparently, people want her and Loph to be together. You know, before I give my closing thoughts on Carmilla, let's throw around some alternative character interpretation into fan theories. You know, it might be unprofessional for a reviewer, but hey, my name's Sombrero Mustache, not Professional Mustache. Betty is actually Elizabeth going to Prince's. For you see, Hilary Duff decided she was going to fuck around in Austria while Chad Michael Murray was on Agent Carter. And while in Austria, Hilary Duff became Betty and went to college there, where she probably stole all of the clothes of some Canadian. Lara is actually a closet sexual deviant. Because her father kept such a tight fist around her, she wasn't able to explore her sexuality, until Lara came along and she thought, Eureka! I have 500 ways I'm going to bang you, and I roll it all in my Nancy Drew notebook. Carmilla lived for only 3 more days. Carmilla is actually a heavy drinker and loves to drink rum. She and Jack Sparrow often went on adventures to find rum. Unfortunately, she was one of the few he did not bang. Or was this a fortunately? I don't know. Being Johnny Depp, I want to know if it's fortunate or unfortunate to bang such a wonderful, wonderful man. Carmilla is actually allergic to cats. The reason why we never see her in cat form, because when she does, she sneezes a shitstorm, or a booger storm. That's fucking gross. The dean who possesses Lara and supposedly Carmilla's mom is actually Ragyo Kyryuin. See in the episode where the dean possesses Lara, the original script was supposed to go by, Carmilla, what's this I've heard putting on your wedding dress? Dies weld is grossom. Es ist talig abelhol, dies wel is selsom, es ist fraglich abelhol, is del Blumengarten ek falsch. Loph and JB, the computer program Ghost. What the fuck, Jordan Hall? Are planning on writing a book titled The Many Ways of Cyber Sex. The one vampire dude actually really wants to bang the other dude, I believe his name was Wilson. And let's get into Wilson. Wilson's actually the best character on Carmilla. Wilson is such an amazing character. He has such a strong ambition to protect others. And while he may seem kind of jerk-offish for addressing women as hotties, it is admirable that in a time of crisis, he sends up a fellowship to defend the women of the college. And in the end of his college years, he becomes a trophy husband to a very successful business Muslim woman and raises a very strong family of athletes and future business elites. Wilson, the best goddamn thing about Carmilla. I love you, man. So, for the actor for Wilson, If you could send me mine, if you could phone me and maybe treat me to a date because I'm lonely, man. My phone number is 1-800-SOMBRERO. Sadly, it actually is. No, it's not.
Instant.
That was fun. And some of those weren't scripted. That's a little insight to how my brain works. So I've covered nearly everything about Carmilla, but you know, even after all of that, I can say with full confidence that Carmilla is still a pretty good show. It's not as great as the fandom would have you believe, and I do think the fandom has lost sight of what the show is really supposed to be. But at the end of the day, Carmilla is on average a 7 out of 10. And at its worst, I feel Carmilla is a 5 out of 10. 5 being average and a 7 being pretty good. But at its best, Carmilla is an 8 out of 10. A great, but not perfect show, in my opinion. Carmilla's a good show that I don't think is for everyone. But I certainly don't believe that Carmilla is the worst thing on YouTube. Because I am. Hey there, thanks for watching. If you made it to the end of this video, please pat yourself on the back. I'm sort of expecting a bunch of flame wars to erupt in the comment sections, like not listening to the video anyways. So guys, let me know something. What do you think about Carmilla? What do you like about it? What do you hate about it? Did my opinion change your thoughts on it, or was I not changing anything but you were still entertained by it? Please let me know in the comments. I'm really interested to know what you guys think about this. If you're interested in hearing my voice more, I do Let's Reads of fanfiction. I'm doing a Let's Read of this one Ruby fanfiction called Nora Kills a Bunch of Everybody. I basically swear and yell at the microphone, and random characters have sex and kill each other. It's a blast. I think it's a lot of fun. I'm also doing this one thing called Prepare to Cry, Let's Read R9K Elsa is Suffering. Really sad frozen fanfiction. I recommend reading with tissues. If you're into gamer stuff, I do game reviews where I review PS4 games at the moment. Hopefully in the future I get to do more GameCube and Genesis games. Anyways, this is a new series of why X is the worst thing of X. I hope to do more of these in the future, and I want to know how good this one does. Anyways, thanks for watching everyone. Peace out.